Welcome to the Family Violence Prevention Week series, Strong Beginnings, Fostering Resilience in the Early Years. Sonya, thanks for coming with us today. Can you just introduce yourself and your role?
I'm Sonya Hooper, and I'm the Assistant Deputy Minister Early Years with the Department of Education and Early Years.
So there's been significant federal and provincial investment in the early years for the last couple of years. Do you want to speak to that? How are the investments really supporting children and young families who are struggling?
I think the easy one would be reduced parent fees for sure. The significant reduction in parent fees certainly relieves some of that financial burden that would have existed with higher childcare fees. And when that burden is lifted, it's certainly good for everyone. Another would be through investments into the workforce. So those that are working in early learning and childcare programs, there's been significant investments in creating and delivering post-secondary education opportunities in early childhood care and education, both at Holland College and College DeLisle. For example, the accelerated early childhood care and education programs at both those post-secondaries. As well, there's been investments in education grants, which help those that are working in the system access those post-secondary education opportunities. And of course, a strong toolbox makes for a strong educator, and it helps to enhance their ability to meet the needs of families and children in their programs.
There's been significant reports showing evidence of the prevalence of intimate partner violence all across Canada, in all of our communities, unfortunately. What are some ways that the department has enacted policies that will support the impacts on young children?
The Department of Education and Early Years, and in particular our division, has been supporting the Early Childhood Development Association of PEI, or ECDA, for the last number of years to deliver a program called Handle with Care. Handle with Care is a simple, culturally relevant, interactive parenting program that supports the mental health of young children ages 0 to 6 and their families and caregivers. This program directly supports families, so those investments are going right to families and caregivers. Regardless of where they live, what their financial situation is, how many children they have, everyone's welcome and everyone benefits from that program. Participants throughout the years have shared many stories of their successes or challenges in parenting, and as we know, child development is pretty rapid in those first 5 years of life, and with that comes lots of changes and challenges and successes. So it's nice to have a support system or folks to lean on during those ever-changing times. And that's one thing that participants from Handle with Care have shared, is that they may not share their own stories, but they listen to others' stories, and to have that comfort in knowing that they're not the only ones experiencing those same joys and challenges. It's very comforting to know that you're not alone in that parenting journey. And in fact, many parents or caregivers that have participated in that program have remained friends many years after the program was over. Oh,
that's a nice story. The isolation of struggling as a family is just so needs to be broken with connection, and all of those issues that are really strong and have those make even bigger impacts.
Yeah, we found Handle with Care has been a real support for that.
Yeah.
Another opportunity is our team and our division have taken a Reaching In, Reaching Out resiliency skills training. And they will be delivering that not only to the rest of our team, but to those working in early learning and childcare programs, which again will help strengthen their toolbox and help develop their skills to support children to become more resilient.
So on that, reaching off from that, children are incredibly resilient despite adverse childhood experiences and whatnot. So especially with interventions, we know that that children can overcome those adversities. So can you talk about some policy or programs that can address some of that?
Well, I think it's just our way of being in early years. In early years centers and pre-K programs, we have what some would consider our early years curriculum. It's called our Early Learning Framework. And its emphasis is on play and social and emotional learning. Programs are delivered with an intentional focus on time, so predictable routines, space, so indoor and outdoor learning environments, and materials and engagement within those learning environments. And then, of course, all of the learning is done through play or experience-based learning. In our world, we call children's work is play. Through play, children have the opportunity to make sense of their world. They have opportunity to express their emotions, whether that's fear or anxiety or excitement and joy. They have the ability to make sense of what's happening around them. So that's especially supportive if they're experiencing anxiety or stress in their lives.
What do you wish more people knew around this issue?
Wow. Children's brains develop connections faster in the first 5 years of life than any other time in their life. And that's why the Department of Education and Early Years, in particular our division, is committed to supporting educators to be the best they can be, but to support them in their work to maximize every opportunity to support families and children throughout the early years. The workforce has also shown their commitment and dedication to the same, to continue to increase their knowledge around how best to support families, how to understand the impacts of adverse and favorable childhood experiences, and how to support children and families through all of those, as well as striving to create environments that provide opportunity to develop healthy relationships, to create playful learning environments, and to support children to be resilient.
Right, and we can really support those positive experiences. We can all be part of that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks so much for your time today, Sonya. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
And you can see more in our series in Strong Beginnings at our website, stopfamilyviolence.pe.ca. Thanks so much.